questions for the two people running for the Galveston County Republican Party chair. And the way that we'll run this is each contestant gets to, or each candidate gets a 2-minute introduction. And then there will be 6 questions, and we'll alternate who gets the question first. You get 2 minutes to answer the question, and then the other side has 2 minutes to give a rebuttal. So, Mr. Bentley, would you like to start?
Yes. Thank you for coming tonight. My name is John Bentley, and I want to speak to you for just a couple of minutes about why I would like to be chairman of the Galveston County Republican Party. Presently, the Republican Party is divided and splintered into many, many small groups and with different agendas and different ideas. One of the great problems as we approach this next election, which is probably the most important election of our lifetime, is that we are splintered. We need to regain focus. We need to come together so that we can do what we need to do in November, and that is defeat the current president and replace him with a strong conservative. We are conflicted over ideology. We're conflicted over our goals, our tactics, and most important, we're conflicted over who we are and who we represent. I'm a graduate of Texas Tech University, and I have been a small businessman for many, many, many years. Too many to talk about, really. I've been working, I figured it out while I was out in the lobby, I've been working for 61 years, and I'm currently still working. I'm semi-retired, but I do work as a public adjuster. It's a very rewarding job, and I've enjoyed it very much. I have been a small business owner all my life. I've made payrolls. I've hired, I've fired, I've created jobs. I've negotiated $1,000,000+ contracts. I've negotiated with vendors and suppliers. I've negotiated with the bureaucracy, everything from Supreme Court judges to clerks. And I have the business experience to handle the day-to-day problems that chairman of the Galveston County Republican Party will face. Because let's face it, the Republican Party is a business. It needs to be run like a business. Yes, we're a political organization, but we need to have financial goals. We need to have budgets. We need to have goals that are focused upon. We need to have accountability for those people that we assign jobs to. What all this means to you is that I have the life experience to handle the day-to-day business. As a political party representing people, we must, and I say must, go out and meet the citizens of Galveston County on their turf, where they are. Many of you, just like me, are just about wore out with this political process right now. It's been dragging on for a long time. I know you're tired. I'm tired. We need to move on. The Republican Party is about free enterprise.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here this evening. Thanks to all of you for coming to hear us this evening. I'm not sure that this will decide anybody's vote, but any opportunity to get to meet more people and speak about the Republican Party is my pleasure. I'm Barbara Meeks. I serve as the current chairman of the Republican Party of Galveston County. I was elected by a sound majority of the executive committee, made up of people who have been involved in the Republican Party for decades. They know what it takes. They know the characteristics of a good, sound chairman, an even-handed chairman, and I'm very proud to have had their vote and their support today. I've lived in Galveston County for 45 years. Like Mr. Bentley, I am self-employed. Some of you might have been customers at Meeks Marine in Kemah. My husband and I built that business from the ground up. Our only year in the red was our first year, and we took that to over $10 million in sales a year. That's dealing with the general public, folks. There's no tougher audience than that. So I certainly understand business and the makeup of that. I'm a lifelong Republican. That's very important if someone wants to be chairman of the Republican Party. I've been actively involved in the Galveston County Republican Party for about 17 years. Keep in mind, I was a single mom the whole time, self-employed, single mom, volunteer, community. I might as well use the term community organizer. I'm part of a team that helped turn the county red in 2010. Yes, there was a national movement, and we were very fortunate to make a sweep here in Galveston County. And so just like the dog that catches the cat, once you catch it, you have to work even harder to keep it. And I am determined and certainly willing to do that. My experience in the Republican Party includes serving as precinct chair for over 10 years, before which I was a single mom. I've been election judge or clerk for 14 years. I was the Republican nominee for county clerk in 2006. I know what it takes to run a campaign. I know what it takes to run countywide. I've been the delegate to many local county, senatorial district, and state conventions. I even served on the organization committee for the 2010 Republican Party of Texas convention. I've had a key role in 4 Lincoln dinners here in Galveston County. That's our annual big fundraiser each year. And my most significant contribution as county chair has been part of the team that has raised well over $200,000 for the party. We are very well funded, and we have recently passed with flying colors a finance review. I've got the winning blueprint for Republican success in 2012, and I would appreciate your vote on May the 29th. Thank you.
And question number 1, what are 3 major accomplishments in your life that uniquely qualify you to be a Republican Party chair?
As many of you have heard me say before, I've been involved in politics all of my life, or all of my voting life, and that's been over 50 years. I've worked for politicians in the Fort Worth, Dallas area, in the Santa Barbara, California area. My wife and I participated in some meetings in Florida when I was there on assignment. I have worked diligently for the Republican Party, for Republican candidates, for conservative values all of my life. About 3.5, 4 years ago, I became very involved in the grassroots movement. And I'm very proud of that. As a matter of fact, in the last presidential election cycle, the voter increase was about 16% higher than it has ever been. This allowed us to clean sweep the Democratic Party in the past election and move great candidates into positions which they now hold. One of the things that I would like to do is see us improve the candidates to have a better vetting process, have better control, have better training, and also I think we need to be more aware of what's going on, and by doing that we must improve our communications. Thank you.
And Ms. Meeks, you have the same question. What are 3 major accomplishments in your life that uniquely qualify you to be a Republican Party chair?
Thank you. One of the 3 major accomplishments in my life that qualify me to be county chair is that I've been a lifelong Republican. I have been active in Republican circles, and I certainly understand the Republican platform and goals therein. I have been a tireless volunteer in the community. I think any time that someone can be a successful businesswoman, be a single mother, and still be an accomplished volunteer is certainly a great qualification, and I know a lot of you sitting in the audience fit that same description. And I have a proven track record as county chair. 14 months ago, when the county chair resigned, took a different turn in his life, and the seat became open, I didn't see anyone else step forward, and so I did. Congratulations or condolences, whichever way you want to look at it. But I'm very proud of our accomplishments in these last 14 months. Thank you.
Now, Ms. Meeks, you have the second question. It's a 2-part question. Part A, what are 3 long-range goals you have for the Republican Party of Galveston County? And B, how do you propose to accomplish those goals?
Thank you, Lonnie. One of the long-range goals is to maintain our Republican headquarters. We're in a very prominent location on I-45. Even when the office is not open, it's a great silent salesman for us. When I think about all of the years that people had to look for us, we would close up shop after the primary or after the general, and then they would never know where we would resurface. Well, now they know where to come and find us. Another long-range plan is to continue with our fundraising efforts. After all, money makes the world go round. Money makes a big difference in these elections, and it's very much needed. And I actually have 4 long-range goals. Another one, although it's going to be, I guess it's a short-term goal, is to have a Latino roundtable. I've been speaking to some of the conservative Latinos that I know around the county. I haven't seen this come from our outreach committee, and so I am going to tackle that one probably as soon after May 29th as I possibly can. And then the other long-range goal is continuing to build the party. That is an ongoing event. Thank you.
Mr. Bentley, I'll repeat that question, 2-part question. Part A, what are 3 long-range goals you have for the Republican Party of Galveston County? And B, how do you propose to accomplish those goals?
I don't know how far down the road long range is, but my immediate goal is to win the presidential election in November. To do that, we're going to have to overcome a huge, huge bankroll that our current president has accumulated. Long-range goals, we need to build a party. The administration of the Galveston County Republican Party, prior to Mrs. Meeks taking over in the middle of a term, flat told me that he was not really interested in increasing the number of precinct chairs due to the very fact that the low number and the familiarity made it a lot easier for him to control. Well, I don't buy that. That definitely has an advantage, but it also limits the outreach you have. You're not able to get out into the community. If we have 100 precinct positions, half of which are vacant as we sit here, some of them the grassroots people have brought in, some Barbara have brought in, but we have both worked hard to try to increase that, and we need to do a much better job. That is the cornerstone of the Republican Party, and not only do we need to do that, but we need to reach out to the public. We need better communication. We go to these things night after night after night, and if you take away the candidates and their families and their posses, you're down to maybe 3 or 4 actual voters that are sitting here. Yeah, they carry the word out, but not always. One of the things we need to do is support our candidates. That's one of my short-term goals and long-term goals. We need to meet with them, talk with them, one-on-one and in groups, and find out what their problems are, what they're having trouble dealing with, and how the party can help them become better at their job so that we don't have to fight a battle every time election comes up. Thank you.
Okay, question number 3. Mr. Bentley, you'll get it first. What do you see as your primary duty as chair of the Galveston County Republican Party?
I've had a lot of time to think about that, and most people don't have a clue what the precinct chair does. I think the primary duty is to build a party, to build confidence. You do that through communication, through transparency, through being out and meeting with the public. Right now, we have a lack of communication, and that lack of communication is primarily between the precinct chairs and the voters in the precinct. One of the things that I want to do is have each one of those precinct chairs make at least 5 phone calls every day. That needs to be documented, who they called, what time, and the number, and so that we get a regular deal. They can pull those names from the voter vault where they're talking to people in their districts. They also need to meet with the businesses in their district and sit down with those leaders and ask them what are their problems, what can the Republican Party do to help you. When we do that and we improve our transparency, we improve our communication, we improve our visibility in the neighborhoods, donations will come in. Yes, we have one big fundraiser every year, The grassroots groups have one every month, sometimes 3 or 4. And we put that money right back into the neighborhoods, right back into supporting Republican Party candidates. We have more vettings. We have more contests. We have more meet and greets. We're out there doing everything we can to accomplish exactly what our goal is: elect good, qualified, conservative candidates to represent the Galveston County Republican Party and the people of Galveston.
Ms. Meeks, I'll give you that same question. What do you see as your primary duty as chair of the Galveston County Republican Party?
Primary duty as county chairman of the party, not as precinct chair, but county chair, is to take care of the day-to-day operations of the party, and certainly during the primary election year, our job is to run the primary. We also have to organize a county convention, which we just had in the middle of last month. Seems odd to have county convention before the primary election still. And also, it's the job of the county chair to build the number of precinct chairs. And that has been, since my involvement with the party, it's been a constant state of flux. Mr. Bentley's right. We need to increase those numbers. When I came on, we had 41 precinct chairs throughout the county. Today we have 52. And when people go to vote on July the 31st for precinct chairs in the runoff election, they will see many more new names. So it's very pleasing. But we have to remember these are volunteers. People have different levels of passion. John and I, it's very obvious that we are very passionate about what we do. And there are some people who also are, and those are the ones that you see up at the headquarters all the time. Anytime we need help at booths, we know who we're going to count on when we see them. So building the party is certainly of high importance, and I know that our counterparts who are also here today would agree with me in that. Thank you.
And Ms. Meeks, I'll give you question 4 to answer first. What will you do to encourage an increase of citizen participation in the Republican Party of Galveston County? In other words, open precinct chair positions or lack of enough Republican election judges or other election workers, those kind of things.
Thank you. Something that we have been doing for several months now. We have a brand new website, and I encourage everyone to go and visit GalvestonCountyGOP.org. We have an e-blast that comes out once a month. Yeah, I'd love to have it once a week, and probably between now and Election Day it will be once a week. So we have done our best to increase communications. Again, the precinct chairs who are volunteers, we had training earlier this year, and then some of them still haven't organized their precinct. Some of them still are asking about voter vault, and they still need help with that. So, yes, as county chairman, we also become a trainer and an educator. To further encourage the public involvement, we have had a number of elected officials into the county, and we will continue to do that. People like to see who represents them in the different capacities. And as county chairman, with a great rapport with elected officials on the local level, the regional, and in the state, I've had success in doing that, and we will continue to build on that once we get through this very unconventional primary season. Thank you.
Mr. Bentley, I'll ask you that same question. What will you do to encourage an increase of citizen participation in the Republican Party of Galveston County, such as open precinct chair positions or having a lack of enough Republican election judges or other election workers?
Like many other things, I think, and it's been proven to me, that really all you have to do is ask. We don't ask. Again, this goes back to failure to communicate with the people in our communities. The Republican Party takes almost no interest in the primaries. They don't promote any programs that I know of. They don't put on any programs that I know of. They participate occasionally and show up at some events, excluding the grassroots events, which, as most of you know, are the predominant amount of programs. No Republicans showed up at the straw poll. No Republican officers showed up at the vetting of the United States congressional candidates for the Galveston County Republican women. They just don't show up. If I'm your representative, if I'm the chairman of this party, we're going to be out there in the neighborhood. We may be sponsoring Little League teams. We may have cheerleader practice in the backyard. Hey, we're going to be out there. We may have a bowling league. We're certainly going to try to have a golf tournament. We're going to have rallies at Gulf Greyhound Park, which for 2 years they told me you couldn't do. You can't do that. We can't get people. They won't talk to us. When I finally decided I was going to have to do that, it took me less than 2 hours to get the first reservation. We ended up with 4,000 people there that night, and we made about $5,000. We come up the next year, and we did the same thing this year. We had Herman Cain there. At the time, he was the #1 candidate in the United States for president. Yeah, he fell by the wayside, but at that time, he was numero uno. We made a lot of money. We introduced every Republican candidate that showed up. We worked hard. We put on a good program. We were very instrumental in getting rid of the pledge cards that all of our representatives were using to claim they couldn't vote the way we wanted them to.
1 minute rebuttal.
Thank you. I appreciate that. It is not the party's job to get involved in the primaries with the candidates. As we know in the state of Texas, anybody that wants to be on the ballot can pay their filing fee. And I talk to all of the candidates. In fact, you can ask any of them, and we do speak. Some more frequently than others because some are much more receptive than others. You can leave a horse to water, you can't make them drink. And the Republican Party is very active through their Republican auxiliaries. We've got Republican women clubs in the county. There used to be 4. There are now 3. We have the evening, the Republican Network of Galveston County, and we have the Pachyderm Club on the island. And we have people that go to a number of different events. Some people might expect the county chair to be at everything.
1 minute.
Thank you.
Question number 5, Mr. Bentley. How do you propose to unite the Galveston County Republican Party and bring the Tea Party and other supportive groups under your big tent?
In my opinion, the tent's not near big enough. We have a lot of people that would really like to participate. Every day, people ask me, what can I do? How can I get involved? I try to point them in the right direction. There's millions and millions and millions of things that we could be doing. And one of the things that irritates me the most is that they feel like they're being left out, that they're not being included. The Republican Party is not about controlling people. It's about inclusion. It's about diversity. It's about free market. What we need to do is give people a job. We need to stop all this internal bickering. We need to get off the front page of the Galveston Daily News. We need to get into the trenches. Just like a football team, I don't care if the left guard hates the right tackle. Their job is to get the halfback to the other end of the field. If they have a job, they will be busy taking care of that job instead of sitting on the sideline and moaning. We have a lot of work to do. We can bring these people together. I tried to have a unity lunch. I invited the leaders of all of the various parties to come and participate. They all did. It was a good thing. We've had pastor breakfast. This was put on by the Tea Parties. We invited many of the pastors from local churches to come. We need to do the same thing with our business leaders. We need to do the same thing with our people involved in our law enforcement, the sheriffs, the constables, the police, the fire department. We need to get involved. If there's an election in Galveston County, the Republicans need to be involved. We need to put those people out there and introduce them to the public so the public can make a logical, intelligent vote. This not participating is killing us. We need to get in the game.
Ms. Meeks, I'll ask you the same question. How do you propose to unite the Galveston County Republican Party and bring the Tea Parties and other supportive groups under your big tent?
Thank you, Lonnie. We do see a lot of Republicans who are members in the Tea Party. We have not seen too many. We do have some who have that Tea Party background who are precinct chairs. But aside from them, we don't see them bringing in too many of their people to the Republican Party. It's a two-way street, folks, and if Mr. Bentley, who has had some wonderful ideas, and he has had some wonderful fundraising ideas, I certainly welcome them. I said on day one, when I was sworn in as county chairman, I will never profess to know everything, but we can certainly work together towards the common goal. I do have to say that in previous years, we have never had so many candidates from which to choose. And that tells me that is one way that people are coming together in the Republican Party. Voters have choices. They don't just come into the primary and already with their nominees. So in 2010, when we won every race, yes, you can say that was the sweep. But in 2012, when we will win races after the primary and after the runoff elections, because there is no Democrat nominee, that, folks, is the majority party. And I certainly welcome anyone who is a conservative Republican to come into the Republican Party. And those of you who are conservative Democrats, I'm sorry, it's not that I want to discriminate against you, but if you want to take your pledge as a Republican, we certainly welcome you. Thank you.
Again, we are the party of inclusion, not of exclusion. I don't care if you have been a member of the Republican Party since you were still in the womb, or if you just got off the boat yesterday or staggered in the back door. If you want to be a part of this process and you want to be a part of this party, we are welcoming you. We will find a place where you can contribute. We have a lot of work to be done. Galveston County should be one of the premier vacation and luxury destinations in the United States, and we are not. We need to get involved in all of these elections, not involvement from endorsing candidates, but involved helping the citizens know who the candidates are. We need to provide opportunities where they can meet with them, where they can talk to them, where they can speak to them. You heard all of the candidates are up here before. Not a one of them had a clue what Agenda 21 is.
That's your minute. Ms. Meeks, question number 6. How do you respond to criticism that the Galveston County Republican Party is elitist or only promotes establishment candidates?
Well, I don't know what you mean by establishment candidates. There are a lot of people who have worked for decades in the Galveston County Republican Party to build it into what it is today. Chris Ann Vogelpole comes to mind. She was having lemonade stands on the seawall long before kids are having lemonade stands to bring attention to current issues. I call these people part of the foundation of the Republican Party. I think about the newest Republican, Judge Wayne Mallier. You know, these are the people that we need to embrace when they come into the party. You might differ with them politically, philosophically, but we have to recognize that they have made a change in their career by coming over to the Republican Party. And personally, I hope that we see more Democrats awaken and come to the Republican Party.
Mr. Bentley, how do you respond to criticism that the Galveston County Republican Party is elitist and only promotes establishment candidates?
I certainly would not say they were elitist. I would say they're very exclusionary. And what do I mean by that? You have no idea the nasty emails I got because I forwarded an invitation to one of Judge Mallier's meet and greets. Unbelievable. I called those people back, and they are current officers in the Galveston County Republican Party, and told them, hey, anybody can run, just like Ms. Meeks said, as a Republican. Attila the Hun, Adolf Hitler, Genghis Khan, if he fills out the paper and sends in his money or his signatures, he can run as a Republican. So when does he become a Republican? All of a sudden, Judge Mallier is a Republican. He's seen the light. Well, I hope he has. I'm sure he has. But for our people, for the Republican voters of Galveston County to know that, we need to put him in front of them, where he has an opportunity to talk to them. They have an opportunity to talk to him, and to ask him questions and to do the vetting. This is where, when the Republican Party is not involved in the primaries, I believe we are shirking our duties. When we go to the polls in November, we only have one choice. We can reach up there and pull the big R, or we can go down through there and pick and choose. Well, if you do that, then you're doing the very same thing that we want people to do. But to be able to do that, they have to have information. They have to put the best candidates forward. The only way we can do that is in the primaries. The primaries are the backbone of our electoral system. That's where we need to have quality candidates. We need to have information available to the public. Thank you.
1 minute rebuttal.
Thank you. Do you know what? This is probably the first year that we have not been forced to actively recruit candidates. The candidates have poured out of the woodwork to run. They all see a great opportunity. And folks, we have some terrific candidates. And I can tell you that there has been public candidate forums hosted either by the Republican Party or another Republican auxiliary like the Republican Network. The candidates for the 405th Court had their opportunity. The candidates in the 10th District Court had their opportunity. The candidates for county commissioner. There is only one race where we fell short, and that's in the constable races, and there was a conflict last night with the sheriff's race. There have been so many candidate forums. How many of you candidates are still out there in the audience? You can attest that there have been candidate forums throughout the county. And so the people have certainly had a great opportunity. The Daily News will soon have their brochure as well.
That's your barber. You do a 2-minute close.
Well, thank you again for having me here this evening. It's been a lot of fun. I certainly have respect for Mr. Bentley. He and I had a nice little chat last night. I brought up to him that I am running based on my credentials, based on my abilities, what I bring to the table, and that I wasn't going to make it any personal attacks. And he agreed to that, and I appreciate that very much. There's so much infighting, and there doesn't have to be. There's a group that they call themselves the Dirty Dozen, and I have to laugh at that because there's no place in that. Usually it's the Democrats and the Republicans fighting, and I certainly welcome that. I ask for your vote, not for my personal gain, but for the good of the Republican Party of Galveston County. If I were interested in personal gain, I would return to my full-time paying job and pour myself into that. That's not a big priority to me right now. Being county chair isn't easy. I've had to deal with many different personalities, and sometimes we just have to agree to disagree, just like many of us in our families and in the workplace have had to do. It is vitally important that once our nominees have been elected, that all sides must come together. I also mentioned this last night to Mr. Bentley, and I'll be the first one to work with the winning candidate to reach out to the others that were in his race or her race so that we can bring everyone together for the good of the whole. That's vitally important. I've been the candidate that has lost, and I know what it takes to help bring them back on board. It's my goal to continue to build the Republican Party in order to continue our successful strategy to keep the Republican Party in the majority here in Galveston County. Together with you, we can implement our blueprint for success. Yes, we have a great winning strategy. We will continue to grow the party, and we will keep Galveston County red.
That's your time.
When I look over this room, I see a room full of Americans. I see human beings, folks who believe in the Constitution, the Bill of Rights, the Ten Commandments, and the strong democratic republic. The preamble states that we are endowed with certain rights. The 10th Amendment gives all the power to the people, and the Second Amendment gives us the tools to protect ourselves against an ever-oppressive government. As your party chairman, I will never apply a litmus test to see if you are good enough to participate in Republican Party activities. I don't care how long you've been a Republican or how much money you've given to the party. I don't believe in the doctrine that it's his turn. He's been here a long time. He's served the party well. She's worked and worked and worked. Well, hey, she can work and work and work trying to figure things out over there with a pencil, and I can put a 22-year-old over here with a computer and do it 50,000 times faster. We got to get into the next century. We have got to have a game plan that's going to defeat the Democrats come November. Barack Obama has $1 billion war chest. That's with a big fat B. And it's growing every day. We have got our work cut out for us. The game plan that we used 2 years ago or last year is not going to get us through. It is absolute folly to think that the Democratic Party, and I know their chairman is sitting right here in this room, is going to come at us with the very same game plan that he used 2 years ago when he got his rump kicked. Hey, he's coming at us with both guns. That's the only way I could ever respect a man. I know he's going to do that. And if we're not prepared, if we're not ready, then we are going to suffer the very same consequences that he did. We have got to get in this game. We have to bring ourselves together. We've got to stop this infighting. We've got to stop this nitpicking.
Ladies and gentlemen, please thank both of the candidates.